Well, what are we going to talk about? Hello again. If you are someone who is completely new to acting, you want to get into it, you want to learn more, this video is going to be perfect for you. How does one learn to be an actor? Most importantly, who can you trust? And what is an intelligent way to do research when you are deciding to choose a class or a teacher? And there are a lot out there, so this can be very confusing, especially when you're someone who's new, who doesn't know some of the theater terminology that we all tend to use, or maybe acting techniques are completely new to you and you need an introduction before you decide to take a class or a workshop to see if it's right for you. I'm going to try to break that down today. I kind of have this broken down into 3 main topics and then a 4th extra one, which we're going to discuss a little bit in this video, more detail later on. But essentially, how do you learn acting? Who can you trust? Because there are a lot of people out there trying to sell a product as a theater teacher or be an acting coach or be an influencer in this sphere. And it can be difficult to know who to listen to. I don't presume to have it all figured out. Take everything I say with a grain of salt, but these are some things that should help you be more considerate in your choices. So one of the first people that you can work with is an acting teacher. An acting teacher is someone who is trained in a specific technique or a variety of different techniques. They went through some kind of training process in order to achieve a certain level of understanding of that technique, and they probably have some kind of certification or degree to teach you those specific things. And a lot of times teachers are specialized. They could be specialized in movement, mime, stage combat, specialized in a certain technique like Meisner or Alexander, or they come from a specific training program that has provided them with a structure to support their students. When you're looking for acting teachers, you want to be looking at their credentials first. So first you want to see what techniques they are advertising that they are able to teach. Check into who they studied under or what program they went through to learn that technique. And then it's always a good idea to just check out some reviews and see what other students say about learning under them. But one of the biggest things that sets teachers apart is their training or their specialization in a certain area or a certain technique. Teachers will often work out of their own home studio, or they may be attached to a local studio or even a school or an academic institution. But for teachers, look at what they're trained in, what they know. Teachers are great for people who are just starting out. If you're completely new, you can get an introduction to different kind of techniques to see if it works for you before you decide to go further into your training. So another way to learn acting is with coaches, acting coaches. And in my mind, coaches are very much like teachers, but they differ in their structure and their approach. When you go to a teacher who is certified in a specific technique, you are learning that technique the way that they learned it through their lineage of education, the way that their teachers taught and their teachers taught and so on. Acting is very much a cultural thing, and we kind of, as teachers, follow the tone of the ones who taught us and carry on in their traditions as well. Coaches are people who are probably also certified in one or many techniques, like a teacher, but they specialize in working one-on-one with people. An important strength for coaches to have is their ability to provide constructive feedback and to help a person grow in their discipline. So where a teacher focuses on teaching a specific technique, a coach can focus on teaching a specific person and personally guiding them through a process of reaching their next goals. In my experience, coaches are often also directors, and they're used to sitting in the audience perspective, communicating to an actor how to be more effective. So that's part of the skill set of coaches, their ability to relate to the people that they're working with and guide them to their next goals. When you're looking for an acting coach, again, like with teachers, you want to see what their training was in, what their skill sets are, and check out their reviews from their students to hear firsthand what it was like to work under that coach. Here's an area where you really want to see mostly positive reviews. I mean, obviously, but sometimes with teachers, with acting teachers, and with a specific technique, sometimes it's almost more acceptable to have a few negative reviews based on that person's experience with that technique in general, not necessarily that teacher. We all have a different process for creation. Some tools are less useful to other people. But for coaches, especially if you see any kind of negative comments about the way that they work with people, maybe don't work with that coach. And finally, the third main group of people that you will find advertising themselves to actors other than teachers and coaches are gurus. There are a lot of gurus in actor training. There always have been, and now they like to go by the title influencers. And this is an important thing to talk about because I think a lot of times people who are seriously pursuing acting training don't pay attention to the gurus and the influencers, but they are plentiful. They are all over the place, and it's very, very easy to become attracted by them and what they're saying, because they promise you success over growth. They make you feel good. They promise you success over growth. If they did it, you can do it. A lot of times, these will be people who have had some industry or commercial success as an actor and turn that into social media acclaim, or use that to cast the illusion that they know how to help you grow as an artist. And it's easy to believe them because this is such a hard career. This is such a difficult pursuit because I think more than any other artistry, in your quest to become a better actor, you really have to look at yourself hard. You really have to see through your own BS and spider webs and get through there to do the actual work. Gurus are people that claim you do not have to do that. And that can only lead to more failure than growth. The reality is that nobody can promise you success in this industry. Nobody can promise you success in this industry. So that is not what you should seek. Seek growing as an artist. Continue to learn new things from people who have credentials. So those are the three main people that you will find offering acting lessons: teachers, coaches, and gurus. What is one of the biggest ways that you can tell the difference? name dropping. The way that people name drop, because we all do it, but you need to pay attention to the way people attach themselves to the success of others. And it can be hard to tell, so let's kind of call them like green flags and red flags. When someone name drops the people that they've studied with, the people they studied under, when someone name drops their teachers or their teachers' teachers, or when somebody name drops the techniques that they've learned, that is usually a green flag. When someone name drops the most famous person that they've ever been adjacent to, not someone that they've worked with or shared a scene with or shared any artistry with, but they were just in the room, in the same room as them. When you hear people name dropping the most famous people they've been around, I take that as a red flag, and someone who is maybe not a very strong teacher. Because the reality is, if you do anything in this industry long enough, you're going to be around famous people. But there's a difference between being around fame and working with fame. So pay attention to the way that people name drop, and remember, all that glitters is not gold. And now to the fourth and final topic, another place where it's very common for people to study theater: academia. And you know what? If you are someone who is considering going to college to study theater, you can still go through the same process for choosing your college as you do for choosing a teacher or a coach. Look at who is working there. Look at what they have learned, or maybe what they have done in their professional career, and look at the people who are graduating from that department and see what they're doing. Specifically, you want to see the rate at which their graduates either go to a graduate program, an MFA program, or into the industry, and at what level are they placed? Where are they working? Ask around about the reputation of that theater program, because the reputation of a college theater program is very, very important. People hear things about a training program, they see how the students are when they come out, and that just adds to the hireability of you as a performer. Now, do you have to go to college to become an actor? Do you have to go to college to work in theater? That is another video that I plan on making soon. Short answer, no. It's not the only path into the artistry or the industry, but it depends on a lot of things. Who are you? What do you want? What training do you think will benefit you the most? There is no one uniform path to become an actor. There is no one single path that everybody or anybody walks to gain artistry, to gain skill, to get into the industry, to be useful as a performer. There are many, many paths to go there. So don't feel like you have to go to college just to become an actor. But if you want to be an actor, if you want to gain skill, I think it's absolutely important that you work with other people. Even if you are already what you considered a skilled actor, if you take a regular studio class or scene study class, not only does it make you better, but you help raise the level of skill for everybody else that's in that room, because that is the way that we learn acting. That's the way these skills develop and get shared, by being in the room while other people are doing the work, watching what they do, watching how they do it, asking questions, commenting on it, and then you try it, You try it for yourself. You weigh how it feels against the feedback of how it looks, and it becomes a skill. It becomes another skill that you develop. It's beyond words. If it was easy to explain, everyone would explain it. So that was me rambling off some thoughts about how you can become an actor if you would like to get started. A few ways that you can be a little intelligent about your research for teachers, coaches, whoever you may be studying with. Beyond the research, it's always important to trust your instincts, trust how you feel when you're working with someone else. This is a service. You're trading time and money to each other. This is a service. Treat it like a service. And if you feel like you're not getting your value out of it, provide that feedback or find another teacher. There's no one single path you need to follow. There's no teacher that you need to study with if you're going to make it. Trust your instincts. Trust how you feel. It's up to you. It really, really is. No one else is in charge of this. So again, if you're someone who is interested in taking acting classes or going to an acting workshop and you were just teetering on the edge of that decision, I hope that this video helped you to decide to go and try it. Become part of the community and learn from others. Maybe others will learn from you as well. So learn from teachers, work with coaches, but don't spend too much attention on the gurus. They can be uplifting, they can have their value, they can make you feel better when you feel less confident about pursuing the artistry or the industry of theater, but they can also be a distraction. Trust yourself following the work. I'll see you on the next one.